Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's a full week here in the States, and then next week gets even more sloppier. We have a half a day on Monday. We are closed on Tuesday. Yes, indeed. So, but Doc will be here. Doc needs to get his frustrations out of his head and document the crazy that's going on, even if most of the world doesn't know it. All right. So I think we all know it on some level, but unfortunately, the insanity just keeps on marching along. How about the weekend, huh? 200 miles, and it would have become the Wagner Republic. And I understand that Moscow was thinking about falling back to Vladivostok on the Pacific. And they were just going to open up a whole new kingdom out that way and give up on Europe altogether. So I don't know. But 200 miles, how many times have we said, not only is China a paper tiger, but we've said the same thing with the Russian Federation. Not all its members, but just the government itself. You have all these lovely minerals, you have an educated workforce, and you have no laws, and it's just the Wild West. You know, just shooting it up. So anyway, 200. What's that make it, like 300 kilometers? And Russia would have been the new head capital would have been in Vladivostok over in there, Japan. crazy, huh? All right, let's take a look at it. The dollar. Look, you can see it up on J4X there this morning. Firm. It is firm. You can see it right there. What else we got going on here? You can see the yellow is trading at 48, and the green is at 65, just like in Chicago Quant. You see the green through the zero line. The yellow is our three-dimensional zero line. And so you can see here it goes, they're both marching up. We've got a little green there, we got a little green there, and we got a little green here and there. And, yo, Janos! How about that, huh? Let's see, interesting, but nobody offers ruble for trading anymore. I know. You know, you and I need to talk. I have an idea. Okay? You and I need to talk on a private line. I got an idea. And we do have a ruble of some form now. We call it the little ruble. That's the Turkish lira. It's trading just like the way the ruble used to trade, from 0 to 100 in seconds. See, meanwhile, Reuters said that the oil jumped due to the event. I don't know. Oil is trying, I guess. It was up 33 cents the last time I saw it, so it's not exactly that much. Not the Saudis' production cuts. You know, at this point, what it comes down to is, and I always want to credit you for this, Janos, and that is that you tried to put out videos. You did put out videos. You didn't try. You did. On how to trade the fundamentals and how they trade in these times and how they have basically died. You know, the fundamentals are just not the fundamentals anymore, you know? And I think that's probably like the big strong suit of it all. You know what I mean? You know, it really is. You know, the fundamentals are all upside down. And when you look at oil, we talked about it last week here. You know, the reason why oil is not going anywhere is because Mr. Powell is trying to destroy the growth at the moment, because he's following the politicians, and the Democrats who are in charge tell him, wreck the economy and inflation will go away. And it's like, no, that's not the way to get rid of inflation. Just like Woodrow Wilson created the Federal Reserve to compensate for recessions and expansions. Well, we've learned through supply side economics and lower taxes that you get rid of the taxation and you have plenty of capital to come in and invest. And money will invest when they can see a return. Matter of fact, I saved a article this morning. What do we got here? We got somebody here. Hi, fine. Can you please, for AUD and later, thank you for advance. Sure, let's put that up on the screen for you. And so I'll keep on rambling, but we're going to show the technical analysis for for the Aussie dollar pairs trade. Let's see, okay, and then we go like there, and right there, and right there, and let's go find Aussie dollar right there. There's Aussie dollar, and as you can see, it's been in the daily sell since. Let's widen this out a little bit. Oh, no, not that way. There. What I can do is I can grab some of those sells and buys. It went into the buy. Let's grab that buy. It went into the buy. I'm not sure what a weekly's not adding in, but we'll get the weekly going for you too. And then it went into the sell right there. And then the last buy, I guess, was right there. It trades very well. You can see that. Now let's get the weekly. Let me see if I can fix the weekly for you. No. Quote manager. Let's see. Cash. Hey, there it is right there. Let's see if we can fix this for you. Edit. Load. Whoa! That's too fast. Okay, there we go. Load again. And we're going to fix it and get that weekly in there for you. Inserts. Let me put my glasses on. So anyway, as we load the weekly into this, we'll go back to Janos and the fundamentals. So they're trying to slow the economy to the point where the fundamentals are, actually trying to come back. I actually have an article after we get the I get the weekly into this. I'm going to pull out this article that I saw posted today about the European Union and companies finally realizing that the zero interest rates and all the taxation and all the stupidity is not allowing them to grow. They're not going to grow. Well, of course not. Socialism. If that stuff worked, the Soviet Union would be called the European Soviet Union. That's what it would be called right now. It doesn't work. It never worked. It won't work. It's been tried and it destroys things. Socialism and communism don't work. It's plain and simple. There's nothing magical about that. It's not like I'm saying something wrong. They just don't work. If they worked, they would be calling Europe right now the Soviet European Union. That's what it would be called, because they'd be merged together at this point. And they're not. And because they're not merged together, it tells us how bad the system doesn't work. It just doesn't work that way. Okay, here we go. We're going to get the, almost there. We're going to get the Aussie Weekly going in a few seconds here. I just have to figure out what the price tag is going to be. Okay, so let's see, what's that? That goes, I just put data in there all the way back to, what day is that? That's Thursday. Okay, so there we go. Thursday of 22. Okay, so let's do that. Okay. You just double check it one more time. Point. Okay, perfect. Here we go. There we go. Almost there. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. And we're loading it, and we go like that. Ah, there we go. There we are. And you can see here it was in a weekly sell for this move down. And it has joined in. You see the fast jumped in right here. Let's put that in there. Right in there. And then the slow joined in the week afterwards. And the strength was there. And now it's trying to roll over a little bit. And we're in the daily sell, so you can't be long at the moment. Who was that asked for that? That was I need to convert that. I don't know that name. See if I can copy that name and get it. Let's see. Go through translator. Let's see. Engleet. There we are. Simon. Okay, cool. Okay, Simon. So what we see there is, let's go back to that. So Simon, what we're seeing here, and let's get it up on J4X too at the same time. Let's see, where's that at? There it is right there. There it is right there. So you can see here, you know, it was in the sell for, let's put the 0 line in too. There it is. Yeah, see, it went into the sell in here, and we went down. Now we went into the buy there on a daily basis, and that's what the center one is. And then the weekly joined in right in here, and you caught that ride right there. And then we went into a sell here telling you that it wants to break down. And right now the weekly is still holding up, so I would not run away from it too fast. You know, just you would have taken your profits if you'd been following 4 or 5 days ago. That's about it. Okay. Hey, Robin. So, you know, Simon, we'll keep, you know, pop in and we'll give you more heads up how to follow this product. And you can see it on J4X right there. The yellow is our 0 line in a sense for J4X. It's at 15. The green, like right there, is at 8. So you can see that pressure on this same time with the red hinky askies going down. Our red dots are pressuring down. They match up about 70% of the time, the hinky askies to our dots. And same thing with the math here, about 68 to 70%. This is the best public indicator you're going to get. You know, we've tested them all. MACD, parabolic, moving averages, blah, 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 you know. And the end result, this is the best right here. All right, Simon. Okay, so, again, let's go back to, let's see if I can find that article, too. Let's find that article. The article, let's see, where's it at? Right there. And the article, which was, here it is right there. I got it. Interesting headline. Right there. European balance sheets are deteriorating. Nearly 1/3 considered weak. Okay, so in other words, nearly 30% of firms in Europe and the Middle East have weak balance sheets after companies loaded up on debt during the COVID-19 pandemic. See, this is what Janos was trying to explain to people 5, 6, and 7 years ago in videos about how the fundamentals do not trade like they used to anymore. Okay, these are fundamentals. That's what they are. When you look at the balance sheet and you start looking at inflation and you start looking at interest rates, these are the fundamentals. When you start to look at how much debt is on a balance sheet of a corporation, that is fundamentals. Hey, Robin. So that's the answer to that, Simon. I hope that helped you out on the AUD. And this is the fundamentals, and the article goes there and makes it very clear. I'm going to go with a sip of the tea there. What do we got here? Company dumps 12,000 tons of oranges on lifeless field for 16 years. So anyway, where else do we go from there? Oh, we go back to the dollar index itself, and you can see that pressure. Dollars are being bought. Let's put it back up on J4X, and then we'll go over to the euro. Okay, right there. And then we'll put it up over here. Right there. All right. So there's the dollar again. And at the same time, There we go. So, what else can we say about the dollar? I guess that's about it. We're done with the dollar. We've just looked at the Aussie, which was kind of fun. And let's jump over to, let's take a look at, we'll come up with something here in a second, the euro. There it is. There is the euro right there. And you can see the same thing there. Euro's been trying to move down the last couple of days. Let's put it on Chicago Quant. Right there. And there's that. You see the second day. Now it's up a little bit today. You know, they're not bouncing in you know, in other words, you know, think about it. Russia almost fell on Saturday. Moscow was almost captured. And the world is pretty quiet and happy. Nothing's really going on. The dollar is relatively firm. Nothing major. Now it's actually kind of weak, you know. I think that we had a president during World War II. His name was Roosevelt. And Roosevelt used to say, all we have is to fear is to fear itself. In other words, the fear we create in our heads is the fear itself, not necessarily the actual actions. And here we see Moscow almost fell, less than 300 kilometers the aggressors were, and Putin bought them off and, you know, did whatever. You know, pulled out a couple of those billion-dollar bills he's got in his pocket, and next thing you know, world's hunky-dory again. And, you know, just the whole thing, you know. So. Now, from the euro, let's take a look at the British pound. And there's the British pound. It's been in that little slide for the last 5 days. Softly, because you can see here it's in the weekly, so it's basically telling you that don't worry, this is just a consolidation and it's not really a sell-off yet. Nothing yet telling us it's a sell-off. Just like the same way with the euro. Let's go back to the euro for a second. Did I even look at that weekly? I don't think I mentioned it. Yeah, the weekly. What's that? So let's where's that sell at? Right there. There it is. Yeah, so the weekly, same way as with the British pound. It's in a buy. This weakness is just noise. That's all it is. It's consolidation. I don't think they're running away from anything. I think what's interesting is we're seeing interest rates rise on a lot of the pairs trades, whereas in the United States we're kind of sanguine. Last week, Mr. Powell made it very clear that we were going to see quarter point increases somewhere along the line. You know, he may keep markets on the edge now for, like, you know, a couple of months now. He may just be, you know, like, you know, just basically, how's the best way we can describe that? I guess you can say is that we're probably going to see the same thing going on that we've been seeing before, and that is that the dollar is going to be firm. American interest rates and inflation have kind of stalled out in the 5% area. We have very short-term rates, 6-month rates reflecting 575 or 570, something like that. So that's the 2 more quarter percentage point increases that Mr. Powell is talking about. And when we start to see that drop, that'll tell us. You know, in other words, what will move it down is supply-side economics. And the more the market believes we're moving back towards supply-side economics in the next year, we'll see it drop. And that's how that will work. And what the Federal Reserve does at this point in time is he placates the spenders and keeps them happy. And they can't complain to him about it more than that. Because socialist policies don't work. And I've said it a million times here. And so we're just seeing it live in action where the socialist policies kind of fall apart all the time. Unless someone else can show me a country that is socialist and not propped up by America, then yeah, I'm the first to believe it. But socialist policies, if you're propped up by America, then obviously socialism doesn't work. You've got to be independent to say that it works. Bench tested. Just like in a laboratory or a racetrack or anything, bench test it, make it live, make it real. All right. So from there we go over to the Swiss franc. Let's see what the Swissy looks like this morning. And there it is right there. Swiss franc trying to get back into the buy. It's dropping down today, but and you notice the Swiss, I guess, there was a story out there that the Congress here in the United States was briefed about 3 days before the Wagner Group tried to invade Moscow, and so it was known that some action was coming, and maybe that's why we saw this pop right there, and in other words, then they dropped it here. That pop was probably the confirmation of the Wagner Group trying to invade Moscow, and then dollar lifted because it looked like it was actually going to happen, and then Mr. Putin bought them off, and that's the way it goes. All right, now from there, where do we go from there? We go over to the Turkish lira. No. Did we go to Turkish lira? Yeah, no, Japanese yen. Let's go Japanese yen. There's Japanese yen. They popped it on Friday, bringing it down a little bit today, almost challenging the 44 area. The high was 43.87. A lot of pressure on it. Been in that daily buy since here. See that there? That's where it's at. Went into the daily. This center chart is the daily. Bottom chart is the weekly. Excuse me. And you can see here we've been in the weekly buy since back in here. We've been in that weekly buy all the way back in here, and even then some. The fast algorithm went into the weekly buy back in here. That's the blue line. And in the slow, so we're very conservative here. We try to follow the slow conservative guarantee almost. In other words, the accuracy is like 8.5, almost 9 out of 10 being right. So that's what we follow. We try to follow that. That's probably like the best way to go. Unless you're subscribing to us, there's no reason to try to push any other data at you, because we don't want to get you confused. You can use the J4X. You can see us once a day. Now at the slow level. So. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me again. So, that's where we stand. Let's shoot over to, let's see, that's yen. And you can see here, yen is, like I said, both weekly and daily buys. Now we go over to, as I call it, the little ruble. We go to the Turkish lira, traded against the euro, and making another all-time high today. The new all-time high is 28.39. So it just keeps on marching up. Friday's all-time high was 29.38. So it jumped over just a little bit more, and it's trading up there now as we speak. Been in a daily buy for the last 3 days. We've been in a weekly buy since mid-March, since the 20-ish area. Tells you a lot about that product. It's almost up 33%. We're figuring it's going to jump 33% from the weekly buy. That's what we keep on thinking. So in other words, take 2025 or 2044 is the close right there. All right, 2044. Figure 33%. What's 33%? So that'd be 7 points. Okay, so it's taken that out already. All right, so 50% would be 10 points. That would put it up around 31. So we seem to be supporting through the 33 area now. So if we're going to hold on to that area, the next area we figure it'll be the 50 percentile up in the 31. And then from the 31, we're thinking, well, We're thinking, 33 to 30, 31 to 33 before it dies down a little bit. And that definitely puts it in the category of the old ruble, where it went from 4 to 9 to 14 to, and then it finally topped out in the 30s. And then the next mistake the government made there pushed it into the 70s and the 80s. So, or maybe they wanted it that way. They're socialists, so they believe that if you devalue your currency, it may bring in foreign investment, since domestic investment is not allowed. And so that's what it really comes down. That's what it really comes down to. That's the weird part about it all. That when these countries devalue their currency like this, what they're saying is domestic investors not wanted. Foreign investors, we want you. Come and get it. Come and get it. Come and get it. Make it dirt cheap. You can buy our assets. You may not be able to get them back home, but you can plow your foreign investment in here, just like China. You can invest, it's like the Cockroach Hotel. You can invest in it, but trying to get your money out of it, forget about it. Hey, yo, forget about it. All right. From there, we jump over to, we start looking at the brick. And we look at the very powerful, most powerful brick of all. And that, as a matter of fact, we have a story about that today, too. Let me find that story to lead this off. Let's move that over, like so. And then we go like so. We have an interesting story there. There it is. There we go. Says brick backlash. Huge growth in China's aircraft industry is flying under the radar. And then it goes into talking about how the rest of the country is doing horrible. And how no one wants the brick. And the end result is what they said is, if they back the brick with gold, why would anybody buy brick? Instead, just buy gold. Why would they? It's like going through a broker or something like that. But we say... And we have a whole different opinion about the brick. And we have an index we've created. And it's so much clearer and so much more precise. You can see this is the only thing that's moving the country at all. And there it is. That's the, why would you buy the brick in its state right now when you can buy gold? Because the gold is much more... every time the Saudis or anybody invest or buy from China, they go and convert it instantly, the yuan, into gold in Singapore, not in Singapore, in Shanghai, and then they then they move the gold out of the country. So, there's no reason for that move. If anything, you can buy gold from China at bargain prices. I don't think that'll last long with the communists. I don't think they want to do that. No, I don't think they want to do that at all. They want you to hold on to their paper. So that's the story there. Right there. Bricks are basically worthless. All right, now we look at the brick in a totally different way. And it seems to be very insightful the way we do it. All right, first thing we do is we go over to the number one brick in the world. And that is the Mexican peso. That's right, the Mexican peso is the king peso. It is the number one brick right there. And you can see it's been gaining against the dollar for months upon months. Okay? As the dollar has been losing value, let's put the dollar up on J4X again. Where are you, dollar? Right there. Oh, I just saw you. There you are. And as you can see here, the dollar's been going down. And what's the Mexican peso been doing? Gaining against the dollar. When it's going down against the dollar, it's making money. So then we look at that, and then we go and we look at the second biggest brick in the world. And that is the South African rand right there. Doing the same thing. Gaining through that same period where the dollar was getting smackarooned. Getting knocked down on its belly. So, it just shows you that just these two bricks show us the real way. and then the next one is the Indian rupee, the third major brick. So we have a whole different way of looking at the bricks and looking at the dollar, and we're right way more times than we're wrong. And we do it here live every day. We do it live. Not many market analysts and newsletter writers and technicians will do their work live to live and die every day live. That's right. We do it here live. Talk about any market technician and, what else can we call ourselves? Newsletter writer and timer. Yep. We're on an accuracy level up in the 90 percentile. And when using options and binaries, you even go higher. Take you higher. All right. Now, from there, we slide over to the Canadian. We're on the South African Rand. So from the Rand, we go and we take a look at, Russia rebels stop march on Moscow. Oh, they're talking. It's a big headline right now. Oh, my goodness gracious. Yeah, I mean, Moscow fell almost on Saturday. Oh, my God. OMG. All right. So what we have here is the South African Rand, as you can see it right there. Let's put gold up on the screen, because we usually look at gold and the South African Rand simultaneously. Right there. There's the gold. You can see gold has been going down. And the South African Rand normally will go up. And it didn't. You can see it right there. It was going down. Now, lately, I guess it bottomed out. And so you can see here, we've gone into the daily buy. You see that right there. We're still in the weekly sell. So, I mean, there's no real pressure on it yet. There's no real change. This is just a consolidation. And you can see there, it's been now, it finally, right at this point, started to act like it normally did. Now, they got a lot of political problems down there. The president is running around with, $100,000 in his pocket every day. And he keeps $500,000 in cash on his desk. So it's not his exact pay. So it kind of makes things even worse. But we'll wait for that all to end on its own. All right, now from there, let's see. They have Ashley Webster up on the screen. Oh, funny. I got to get back to the webinar here. They're cracking me up on the financial channel. All right, now from there, let's jump over to the Canadian, and we look at the energies from there, and that's what we'll do. We'll go right into the energies from the Canadian, and there's the Canadian. It broke that triangle that we've been staring at for months. Where's that math at? There you go. And it's taking out these bottoms, it's doing what it's supposed to do when you break those triangles. And at the same time, you can see we've been in weekly sell. And when this thing is gaining against the dollar, and that's what that has been doing, just like the other two bricks, we go over and look at oil right here. There we go. And you can see here it's pretty much down at its lows. And that's light sweet crude. And it's, when you're slowing the economy, as we said earlier in the webinar, that oil drops. That's the way it's supposed to work, really. Oil drops when you slow an economy. Doesn't matter how much demand. What it does is it disrupts the demand. So, it's hard to how do I express this? It's hard for an economy to grow when you're raising rates and tightening money supply. I saw a stat that showed that the money supply was at 2008 levels, which is dramatically low compared to all the money they flooded into the system. So, you know, you're seeing weakness in the oil not because of supply, but because of lack of demand. There's the country, something like statistics show like 76% of the population think that the country's going in the wrong direction here in the States. It'll last for another year, and then Jojo the clown will be gone. I think he'll be gone even sooner. I've been saying that for the last 2 years, and we'll see how that all plays out in the end. But as far as I can tell, when looking at the economy, and you have the oil contract up on J4X, you see the Canadian here. It's telling us that not the inflation, but slowing economy really is pressuring everything. And that's pretty much what it is. And that's the only way to really look at it. And I think that's where we're going to leave it at that point. All right, now from there, unless there's any questions, what we'll do is we'll jump back over to let's see. Let's go over to, that's the last of the currencies. So now what we'll do is we'll jump over to the energies. And we're going to put, what do you call that? We'll put Brent up on J4X. And we'll put August oil right here. And you can see that it's down. It's up by a few cents for the day, but barely. Made a high, it broke the 70. And now it's, pulling back. Let's see, where's Brent? There it is, Brent. It's right there. It's trading at 74. And you can see it's trying to lift up, same as here with the West Texas, but it's almost unchanged for the day. It's up 12 cents. That's it, just 12 ticks. You can see the weekly is trying to join in. It's at 87 over here. And you can see that pressure is on the market. It's trying. It's been going in and out. I mean, Powell is really twisting the marketplace. They weren't really, there were some money managers out there trying to, they were screaming it from the top of their lungs for the last 6 months. July, they're cutting rates. It's like, what? They're not cutting rates in July. Those days of free money is moving away. The House of Representatives is run by the adults again. And because of that, this could be a big momentum shift for decades in the United States. It could really do that. It could be very tenacious. Now you can see here, it's through the manifold today already. Oil right off is telling us that it wants to go up. And they may, for the next couple of days, try to find ways to lift up. But we got to get into a daily buy before we accept any real action on the upside. Right now it's screaming at us, be neutral, because look, the daily is in a sell, the weekly is in the buy. We saw on Friday they're trading the front month now at 69.15, and the back month right here, October, is at 69.33. So it's trading at a 15-cent premium in the back month. So they don't want to really take delivery of the front month. They're trying to move away from it at the moment. And you can see here, we are trying to climb into the weekly buy again there after being in the weekly buy for like 3 weeks. And we fell into the sell on Friday. And can you imagine, on Thursday and Friday, oil found a way to go down when, in fact, the Congress had been briefed a few days beforehand about the Wagner Group trying to take Moscow over the weekend. So money knew it. And they don't, what they probably figured this was going to be the scenario. Putin buys them off. He's got hundreds of billions of dollars parked in his accounts. He can buy them off and keep on trying to buy them off. You know, it's going to be freaky. It reminds me of those put sellers that we saw get wiped out in February and March of 2020. You know, the put sellers were selling puts for 12 years naked, just selling puts. They said the Fed is going to protect them, and they made billions from it. And then what did they do? 3 of the 5 major put selling companies went bankrupt. The other 2 got out and survived on some level, but gave back all their profits. The ones that had made billions also, that refused to close their positions, basically lost all the billions that they made, and they're out of business now. And so all these decades, Mr. Putin, you know, building this big giant war chest, and the question will be in the end is, will he end up with $1.5 billion or $2 billion of his own after almost having $1 trillion? He may be the first person to ever lose $1 trillion after stealing it, after getting it, after whatever you want to call it. Did he earn it? I guess he earned it in his own way, you know, by taking it from the Russian Federation. But he's a trillionaire, and now he may be only a billionaire, and you know he may be the first person to ever lose $1 trillion. All right, from there, see, this is why I need to do my webinars every day. I need to get this out of my head, or it caroms around like a ping pong ball in my head. These ideas, and I don't say them out loud, and the next thing you know, I feel like, you know, I want to just scream. Ah! All right, from there we go over and take a look at Nat Gas. Let's see what the Nat Gas was taking off too the last couple of days. Now, obviously, they had something going on. They knew that the Wagner Group was going to try to invade Moscow, and you can see it's been in a weekly buy for 2 full weeks now, going on a third. We've been in a daily buy for what is that? I guess we moved that over. What is it? I think it goes like that. That, there, and then there. That's what it is. So we've been in the daily buy since the 12th. So that's 3, that's 6, that's 9, that's 10. So 10 weeks, 10 days, 10 days now, the daily has been in a buy. And it's gone from the 240-ish, 230-ish area. What was that? That was 234. Let's call it 235. So it went from 235 to 287. $2.87. That's what that has done there. Indeed, indeed. All right. Now from there, we did that. Brent. Let's just show you Nat Gas up on J4X. Where is it at? Nat Gas is right there. There's Nat Gas trading at $2.80, just like it is right there. 87 to be exact. See, 2.87. 2.87. There it is. 2s are bid for. Evens are bid for here. 5s are offered. It's rock and roll, traders. Then what we do is we slip and slide over to Spain. Now let's see what the European energy company in Spain is doing today. And we slide down to that right there. And as you can see, it's been moving down for days, which is really cool. It's at the 26 area still. It's trapped in the 20, between 27-ish. And you can see the high there, or 27-ish, and the low of the 26-ish. And you see it there, triangling there for a while. We did have a move down into the 25s for a short period of time, which was really cool. Yeah, it's 25 compared to $2.70 here in the States. And you can see here right now, green is at 32. The slow, or the zero line itself, is at 38. Is that 38? No, 35. So there's still some pressure on the downside. You know, we'd love to see this energy company move back down into the low 20s and help out the Europeans. Can you imagine if Moscow had fell on Saturday? That would have been interesting on the energy side, you know. Maybe that's why we're seeing the weakness. They realize that Russia has no real influence over any of these markets anymore. They can't even hold their own city almost. Vladivostok, next capital of Russia, will be there on the Pacific. They'll be like running and hiding like little rabbits. Keep their $1 billion. Hide there. All right. Let Europe be Europe. Exactly. All right. Now from there, we go over to... that completes it. That completes the energies unless someone wants to see something else. And then what we do is we go over to the S&P 500 right there. And there's the S&P 500 showing a little weakness, nothing major. Let's put it up over here. And there it is right there. It's at 4,386. The J4X is showing us the index itself. So it's at 4,346. So it's a discount of 40 points on the future. There's a premium on the futures contract because of the interest rates and dividends and all that stuff. So in other words, if you buy the index and buy all 500 stocks and go sell the futures contract, you would make 40 some odd handles. What would that be? A handle is on the mini is $50, so 10 times is $500. So 4 times $500 is $2,000. You would make $2,000 over the next 3 months. That's how that works. You would collect dividends and so forth and so on and make $2,000. And then you multiply that out. You take a look at the what it would cost to buy all those things, and that's how you figure out how to do that arbitrage / cross market buy right type of thing. Let's take a look at it on a more closer look on an intraday level. Notice that last night it was lifting up, and then they just knocked it down into the 4,375 area, and now we are about almost 10 points higher, and it did get up a little bit higher during the webinar here. You can see the pressure is on it right now. It's trying to break down. We went into a buy right here after going into a sell right here. We fell all the way down to here. Now we've climbed into the buy right there. And it made a new high and then didn't make a new low. And now it is trying. It's definitely not looking healthy. And over here on the longer term intraday index, it's barely budging. Let's make this one. This is a shorter term. You can see there. Went into the buy right here and zipped up. Went into the sell right there and zipped down. And now it's trapped. It doesn't know what it wants to do. And on the longer term intraday right here, basically the same thing. It went into the sell right there and stayed in that sell all the way to right here. Took a couple hours or I don't know, see how much time it was. So that was at 2:44 and ran to 13 minutes. It was 13 minutes. And then went into the sell, and then you saw the slide here. Then there's your buy, made a new high, and then fell apart. They're still saying they can't figure out what it all means. Just that the invading forces got less than 300 kilometers and controlled some parts of the outskirts of Moscow itself. Interesting. So almost a coup in Moscow, and the world is kind of quiet. You don't even have to worry. This is wild. How many times have I said he is destroying the brand name? Russia may not be able to bounce back for many years until capitalism and free markets and the rule of law is finally respected in that country. Alrighty. Now from there, we slide over to what do we look at? We take a look at the Dow Jones. Let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's put it up on J4X. Oh, you know what? Let's look at the weekly too. Let me do that first. Let's look at the weekly on S&P. You can see there, we've been in a weekly buy for a long time. You know, you can see it right here. We've been in a weekly buy in the S&P 500, a few hundred points back. So we went into the buy back in here in the 4,100 area, and we've climbed now to the 4,000, almost 500 area, 493 to be exact. So it's been a great move, like a 2,000 point move, or 3,000 point move on the Dow, I think. Let's take a look at that on the S&P 500. There it is right there. So let me just double check. What was the date again on the S&P? So we went into the weekly buy in the end of March. So let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average at the end of March. There it is. So it went into the buy there too. You see that there. The fast stayed in it, slipped in and out a few times, then went into the sell, fell down, and then we went back into the buy 4 weeks back now. This is the fourth week starting, and we saw this nice move in here. And it went up basically from the 33,000 to the almost the 35,000. It was like a 2,000 point move. So, you know, there's been some really good action on the stock indices. I think they're just, you know, they're paid to buy, so they got to nibble at something. They got to buy. One thing is for sure, there's no reason for them to sell stocks. You know, there just isn't. You can hedge it with derivatives. And this way you can collect the dividend, and then you can tell them you're just hedging. So, I mean, if you want to keep on getting paid to do nothing, you got to play it that way. That's pretty much what it comes down to. All right. What else we got going on here? Oh, let's take a look at the Tech 100. And better yet, let's just drift right over to... Well, the Tech 100 is like the king of them all. You know, it's up like 30 some odd % for the year. Let's put it up right there. And let's put it up over here. See, it's been in a weekly buy for like 14 weeks also. Just like the S&P 500, maybe even 15 weeks. Yeah, look at that. We've been in a weekly buy in this product since the March area again too. Yeah, see, that's right there, 13,000, and we've moved all the way up to 15,000. What was that? 15.4. So it's been a couple thousand point move in that. That's been a really great return in like 29 to 30%. Fantastic move. Now, from there, let's take a look at what I like to say is basically the worst of our 4 stock indices that we follow here in the States. It is the Russell 2000, and the reason why I call it the worst is it's because it's not that they're bad. They're new companies. They're what the NASDAQ or the Tech 100 used to be. Now the Tech 100 is the premier index, okay, of growth. But the Tech 100, I'm sorry, as you can see right here, this is the Russell 2000. We've topped out a little bit in here. We've been in a buy for 4 weeks, going on a 5th. We've been in a daily sell since, I guess it's right there now. We went into the daily sell right there. And before that was a buy, and then slid into a sell, and right back into the buy again right there. You know, it's holding up. It's had a really interesting move just itself, right? 1750 to 1900 plus. It's almost a 200 point move over like a 4 week period. That's pretty powerful. And it usually means when we see strength in that, it's usually an indication of buyers coming into the market. Just as you can see, since March, it's been sideways. Every time it tried to rally up, it failed. But now it seems to have gotten some action and been able to hold up. And when it does that, that's usually a very good sign that money is trying to come back into the market. Speculative money. Speculative money. So in other words, they're always going to be buying, Apple, and they're going to be buying General Motors, and they're going to be buying, General Electric or, Boeing. They're always going to be nibbling on good companies like that. But these companies here are the promise and the hope and the promise that they might become one of those companies someday. And so, Apple and Microsoft and Intel and all those were in like a Russell 2000 at one time. And they've made out great. So. All right, traders, we're out of here. It's been a quiet Monday morning. We will catch you tomorrow, same time, same channel. So this is Doc saying, happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be tomorrow. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Have a smart and sharp trading day. No big news until Wednesday.